Okay. We'll just wait for 2 minutes and we'll be starting the session. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, we will start, ma'am. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Autism Connect Facebook Live. I am Shreya from Autism Connect team. So, today we have an amazing occupational therapist on board with us, Ms. Vandana Sinha. So, people who have already joined, I'll just give a small description about Vandana ma'am. Ms. Vandana Sinha is a lead occupational therapist at Early Autism Services India. She has 9 years of experience with children with neurodiversity. She is certified in sensory integration certification by University of Southern California and wheelchair training by WHO. Along with, she also trained in Brain Gym 104, Crispiani Movement Program, and Oral Placement Therapy Level 1. Her main goal is she believes in parents' empowerment so that each parent could be a best facilitator to their children. So she'll be speaking about speaking today about what's before handwriting, which is, I guess, which is a quite interesting topic for our audience. So Vandana ma'am, I request to start your session.
Thank you, Shreya, for the wonderful introductions. And I'm really happy and glad that Autism Connect and Early Autism Service India has provided me this opportunity to share my experience and knowledge with the parents in need. I really believe that parents should be the best facilitator to the child, and they should empower themselves and learn from the professional the techniques and to help their child to achieve their best potential in their life. So let's start the session. I will share my presentation. I hope this is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So topic today is what's before handwriting. As a professionals, most of the parents are coming to me with the concern of the handwriting. If the child is 5 years, 6 years, still not started writing, and even if the child is writing, the writing may be not eligible. And maybe they are not able to complete the school assignments. Sometimes the slow speed, the spacing is not proper. There could be many of the reasons behind that. So I want parents to understand before jumping on the handwriting training, what are the prerequisites they should understand to look into the children. So I'm not going to give any tips to improve the handwriting directly, but of course, the root cause behind it, they will look and work upon those things. Let's start with what are the different occupation of the children. As an occupational therapist, we tell parents there are 3 major occupation of the children. The first is activities of daily living. There could be a basic self-care and the instrument self-care. In the basic self-care, there are like bathing, dressing, toilet training, feeding, and the instrumental ADL means like managing time, taking medicines, taking care of the others, the social participation. So there are 2 kind of activities of daily living. According to the age of the children, they should know age appropriate self-care. So suppose a child of the 5-year should know to indicate for the toilet, or at least take the food with the spoon or with the hand. So these are the age appropriate self-cares. In the play, the second area of occupation is play, in which the children should participate in the group of the children. As similar as the activities of daily living, the play also has the stage. Very young children of 0 to 2 years participate in the sensory motor play. If they see new things, they take it, they try to break it, manipulate it. Some kids take it in the mouth to get the more exposure about what is that. So that curiosity of the child is the sensory motor play. So similarly, self-care, the play also has the different stages of the development. And the last one is the education. So activities of daily living and play as important as the education, because these are the foundation to bring the child at the education level. So parents should give the equal importance to all these three areas. Let's come to today's topic, is one of the part of the education. When we talk about the education of the children, there are two divisions, academic tasks and non-academic tasks. Let's first discuss about the non-academic tasks. Non-academic tasks, when the child reaches to the school, the child is clueless, where is my classroom? Where is the lunchroom? Where is the playground? That means the child is not alert enough in the environment, so forget about the academic task. The child still struggle at the non-academic task, like navigating around the classroom or sports or the lunchroom or the play area, sharing and managing their things, placing the school materials or school bag in a proper place, managing themselves in the toilet time and the feeding time. So these are the very important non-academic tasks, which is the precursor for the academic task. So these things, the parent should prepare the child before the academic task. In the academic task, we say reading, writing, calculation, problem solving skills, doing the school works. These are the academic tasks. And in academic, today's topic is handwriting. So what we mean by the handwriting? Why it's so important? Handwriting is nothing, is just a meaning of expressing language as equal as the speech. So speech is a motor output through the oromotor structure and handwriting through the hand. It's a just expressive language, and that's why it's called the language of the hand. It's a physical way of expressing your thoughts, idea, and trying to communicate with each other. So if the person cannot speak, they can write and express their thoughts and ideas. As similar as speech, it's a very, very complex skill to master, because it involves so many small components, like your linguistic skills, your cognitive perceptual skills, your reading ability, your working memory, your ideation, your motor skills, and all these skills not work separate. They should come together, coordinate with each other, and then a child can achieve the handwriting skills. The parents should understand also how this handwriting develops as the child grows. So maybe for one child can started learning by handwriting, doing scribbling, coloring, even though they go to the alphabets and numbers by the 3 to 4 year of the age. And some children may not able to achieve that even if they are 6 years of the age. According to their culture, according to how much opportunity we are providing child to learn, it's different for each child. That we have to understand. And if you see a normal school going child, usually they spend a lot of time in a school for the handwriting training or maybe for the fine motor work. Usually study says they spend their 1/3 of the school time just in the handwriting works. So you can think how much it is important in our academic system. Let's talk about the development. If the child of the 1 year of the age, they should start scribbling on the paper. Just a random scribbling, not the structural one, just a random scribbling on the paper. And by 2 years, they started imitating horizontal lines like this, horizontal lines, vertical lines, and circles. And then by 3 years, they started copying of the horizontal, vertical lines and the circle. By 4 to 5 years, they started copying the cross and the oblique lines. These are the oblique lines, squares, some of the shapes also. And by 5 to 6 years, they started writing all the alphabets, numbers. They started print their names and some of the words also. As the child grows, it continue till 12 to 13 years until they are very, very, very proficient in that. For some people, the handwriting you will see is not very legible. So even they are writing, the writing is not very legible. Like you cannot read half of the words. So even though the person has learned the writing, it's not very legible. And when they started writing from the scribbling, random scribbling to control scribbling, and then they started tracing of the lines, and they started imitating, then copying, and they start printing. That's how the handwriting development happens with the normal development of the child. These are the things which I would like to discuss with the parents today, which is really, really important aspect of the handwriting, and it's always hidden. So that's why the parents do the fine motor work. If enough for the child, the handwriting will not come. So these are a prerequisite for the handwriting, and we should observe in the child jumping on the handwriting training. Let's discuss one by one. What is that? The very first one is the motor planning. Like how you're planning anything, that's in the simple word. How much you're planning. So suppose it's a marker and you take the marker, after that you have an idea. What is that? Just an idea. You're not doing anything. That is called ideation. So you will have an idea. It is something which I can scribble or I can mark with this somewhere. Just an idea. I have an idea. And then you started planning. Okay, next what? What I will do with that? Okay, I will take it. I will open it and I will do something with this. So that is what the planning. And the third is you're executing the movement. Your idea, your planning, and then actually you do it. So that is what the motor planning. So if a child has a chalk and slate, the child should have an ideation. It's not for eating. It's for something to do, hold in the hand and do something like scribble or use it with the hand, not put it in the mouth. That's an idea. And planning means what to do with that. Either I will do this, either I will make circle, or either I will just do random scribbling. That's a planning, and executing means actually you are doing something with those things. So that's what the motor planning. Child should have the motor planning ability to do the handwriting practice. So if the child doesn't know, like if the letter A, how to go up, how to come down. So child, if cannot plan, forget about the writing skills. You need to work first on the motor planning skills. The second one is the postural control or the core muscle. This is really, really important. In the clinical practice, we have seen many children with the poor core, like your waist area. That's called the core muscle. So if it is weak, the children will slouch. They will go like this on the table, or they fidget. They will keep fidgeting right and left. They cannot maintain a proper sitting posture for the handwriting. They fidget a lot, either they flop on the people, on the table. That means the child doesn't have the postural control to maintain the sitting position and writing. So if I cannot maintain the sitting position, how I will write? I will write one word or one letter and I will flop. So the parents and the professional has to work on the postural control before going to the handwriting training if the children has a poor core muscle. The third one is the proximal stability. Your proximal part. Proximal means which is here. Distal means which is here. So your hand is a distal part. Your shoulder is a proximal part. So if your shoulder is not stable enough to provide support to the hand will not move in a proper way. So it will move like this. Your shoulder will move more because your shoulder is not stable. So we need to work on the more of the proximal muscles to make it more stable so hand can do the function better. And the fourth one is the dissociation of the movement, which means our each body part can work independently. Like if you are walking, your legs can move separately from your other body part. If you are writing, your hand can move separately from your hand, upper part of the hand. If you are looking at the up, your eye can move separately from your head. So dissociation of the each body part is very, very important function. So for that, your wrist and your finger should work independently from your rest of the arm. So these are the four component, very, very important points to remember when we are going for handwriting training for any of the children. So here I would like to share an example how this child is sitting on the chair and what are the important points the parents and professional will keep in the mind when they are doing handwriting practice in tabletop. The first one, sit upright and lean slightly forward, not like flop on the table, upright and slightly forward. So some kids, they'll go backward, some kids flop, some kids fidget. So you need to select a proper table and chair height for the children. Paper angle. So if the child is the right-handed, you need to see how to put the paper position. So it is a right angle parallel to your forearm. So children can see what they are writing. If children are left-handed, it is little angled. So with the left-handed children also can see what they are writing. Elbow position on the table. Table should not be very high or very low. So they have to bend or like they have to struggle much. It's just 2 inches above of the elbow. So your table height should be just 2 inches above of the elbow height. Fit flat on the floor. So your hip angle, knee angle, and the ankle at the 90-90-90. Okay, so your feet should be supported on the floor. It should not be hanging. The chair height. The chair height is 1/3 of the children height. And the table height is the half of the children height. So these are the table height is half and the chair height is 1/3. That the parents should keep in the mind and feet flat on the floor. So in this picture, you can see the child is in the seated position. The table height and chair height is very appropriate. The child fit on the floor and the paper is just right angle. You can see the arm position of the left-handed is little angle in the slant and the also right-handed is parallel to the forearm. And the pencil grip we will discuss in the coming slides. So here are some of the activities, just an example I am putting. It doesn't mean these activities are appropriate for each and every child. There are hundreds of activities. We need to select which one is appropriate for your child and what's the need of the child and your interest of the child as well. So animal walk is the one example. If your child is very young, they love to do bear walk or crab walk or snake walk where they have to just do creeping or crawling on the floor, do some fun activities where they are working on the proximal muscles and the core muscles together. So animal walk is one of the activity we can do with the younger child. If the child is little school going, we can do the push-ups, like let's do the hand push-ups or wall push-ups, chair push-ups, carrying some heavy objects, or do the tug of war kind of play. So those kind of activities for the little older children to build up the proximal stability and the core muscle. The heavy work activities, lifting, pulling, pushing, carrying, these are the activities we call a heavy activities, where the children has to lift something, do the actually the heavy work. So these are the heavy work activities. Weight bearing activities, again we are some of the functional activities children can do actually at the home in a fun way, also at the school. So for an example, one is the floor mopping. In the school, they can do the blackboard or whiteboard. They can carry the books to just distribute in the children. Or at the home, they can carry the bucket, like not very heavy, but according to the age, carry the bucket or the laundry basket or the groceries. At the school, they can carry the table or chair, or just push the chair and table to arrange in the classroom. So these are some of the functional activity actually in the school, and at the home the parents can do. At the school, if teacher will cooperate little bit, it will be very beneficial for the children. Let's talk about the readiness. What are the things the parents should look just before, after doing all those four, like motor planning, proximal stability, postural control, and the dissociation of the movement? Let's come to this stage where actually we are doing some of the pre-writing. These are called the pre-writing activities for the children. The first is the small muscle development. So in our hand, there are very small muscles, which we call the fine motor activities, in-hand manipulation activities. We are doing a lot of fine motor work to build up these muscles. So like that, in a session, we are doing at the home also, parent can do the beating, scissor activity, or the clothespin activities. Just they take the clay, roll the clay, make the small balls with the fingers. So these are some of the activities which help to build the finer movement, picking up the coins, manipulating the coins. So buttoning, unbuttoning, it help in the small muscle movement. The next is the eye-hand coordination. When we write, our visual system and our motor system work together in an integrated manner so that we can move our hand and write or copy the words simultaneously. So if a children has to copy from the blackboard, they has to look up and down, up and down. So your vision and hand working in a coordination to copy from the blackboard. If the children doesn't have the eye-hand coordination, the writing work is very, very difficult. So that's why we are doing a lot of eye-hand coordination activities. It could start from the gross motor, like catching and throwing the ball, and go to the fine motor activities where we are doing the beats. So these are the eye-hand coordination activities where we are working on the indirectly over the writing work. The ability to hold the writing tools. So if you have a pen or pencil or chalk or different kind of writing tools, the children should know how to hold it. Many a times we do mistake, we just put the pencil in the children's hand in a correct position and we give a support to write. So if we observe, if we just keep the pencil in front of the child doesn't know which is the correct side, this side or this side, and children will start writing. They are not alert enough, they are not aware that how to hold the writing tool in a correct position. So always give opportunity to the child to hold the writing tools by themselves so that they can do the correction. Otherwise, there will be a lag between them, between the learning. So because they always had opportunity to hold the correct side. So ability to hold the writing tools. Also, how they hold the writing tools. It is like this, it is like this, or it is like this. We'll talk about the holding position of the writing tools in the coming slides. The ability to make the basic strokes. The basic strokes are the standing line, sleeping line, your oblique lines, all the shapes. These are the basic strokes. So if the child is doing like this, it's not smooth. If the child is doing this controlled manner, in a controlled manner, then it's a smooth strokes. So the child should have ability to make the smooth strokes. Even it's a coloring if they are doing, it should be like this. The letter perception and orientation to the printed language. The study says the writing skills of the children and the reading ability of the children should develop parallelly. If a children doesn't have the language skills or the reading ability, when language I says I am not talking about the speech, I'm talking about more of the reading ability, then they will not achieve the handwriting skills appropriately. If I cannot understand what is A, what is B, what is 1, 2, 3, how I will write that. So children should have the letter perception and orientation about the printed language, what they have to write. They should understand that. So these are the 9 figures. When we start the handwriting training, before that, this comes in the pre-writing skills. So these 9 figures are very, very important visual motor skills to practice. The first one is the vertical line. The second one is the horizontal line. The third one is the oblique lines, the right and left oblique lines. The fourth one is the plus sign, which we call the crossed, and the circle, the X sign or the cross, the triangle and a square. So these 9 figures in the pre-writing training need to practice each child before going to the actual handwriting training. Research says if the children are masters in these 9 figures, they achieve the handwriting practice or letter practice very soon compared to the children who have not done this. So why it is important? Suppose a child has learned all these 9 figures and child has to write H. So very simple, you will say, okay, one standing line, and one sleeping line. So children have a visual image of how to write H. Similarly, if the oblique lines like right oblique, left oblique, and a sleeping line. So children will have a visual image of the letters very quickly if they go through this pace. Pencil grip. Many parents and there are many debates about the pencil grip, like what should be the pencil grip, what is the correct way to hold the pencil when the children write, should we change that if the children has learned the like in correct way, how to correct that. The first thing, if the children has learned a way to hold the pencil or writing tool and the children at grade 1 or grade 2, like about 7 year or 8 year of the age, it's very, very difficult to correct that. If the child functional writing is good enough, let's not try to correct that, because it's very difficult for the child brain to understand and they will get confused until and unless it gives any undue pressure on the fingers and the hand. So when we are talking about the pencil grip, there are few things we should notice. The first thing is the hand dominance. In which hand the child should hold the pencil. Either it's a right one, either it's a left one. Some children right-handed, some are left-handed. So we need to just observe which hand is dominant and we encourage to use that hand. Some children use both hands equally. In those cases, we need to just choose, okay, the child is more preference is one hand, so let's move with that hand. The functional pencil grip. No matter what, if the child is holding the pencil with the 2 finger, with the 3 finger, with the 4 finger. But if the child able to write legible letters or the words, he is doing their school works, it's absolutely fine. We should not try to change in the so-called tripod grasp. This is the tripod grasp, like if we are holding the pen with the 3 finger and these 2 finger are here and we are moving like this, this is the tripod grasp. But if the child is ready to write with the 2 finger also, it's absolutely fine. Small size pencil. When we start the handwriting training, always start with the small size pencil. If it is a big pencil, it's very difficult for a child to handle that and stabilize that, and they will go like this because they cannot manage the pencil and they will keep stabilized pencil either here or somewhat like this with the thumb. So thumb position is very incorrect. So if you'll correct initially only and give a small pencil, it will be always good for a child. Ability to manipulate pencil and adaptation in the writing tool. So as I said before, they should able to manipulate pencil. So they should know which is the correct side when they are going to write, and adaptation. If suppose a child is not ready to write with one kind of pencil or pen or writing tool, we should look for the options. There are in the market, there are 100 of the variety of the writing materials are available. Some are modified with the rounded shape, some are triangular, some are felt tip, which is not slippery one. So there are different kind of the modified writing tools available in the market. We can select according to the child need and preference. What will be how the paper important? Is the paper important? So when we started writing practice, you usually do with the unlined paper, like a blank paper. But we should start with the 2-line paper. In India, most of the schools, they use the 4 lines paper, which is really difficult with the children with neurodiversity. They always find more comfortable with the 2-line paper because one, it's give a visual feedback like where to write. In an unlined paper, there is no visual clue. So they will write A here, B there. So there is no visual clue, they get confused. With the 4-line paper, there is too much visual input. That's why they confuse. So 2-line paper is always our best paper to practice the handwriting. Let's see this picture and try to understand how the pencil grip develop with the age. So if a child is very young, like 1.5 years and all, they hold the pencil with all 4 fingers like this. And they do some scribbling work. As they grow, it moves to more towards the finger and hand position change, something like this, and they do like this. By the 4 year, it's more mature grasp coming towards the tripod grasp like this. And by the 5 year, the tripod grasp usually comes. And children start proper writing and the small muscles of the hand also gets developed. So with the age, this is what the development of the pencil grip. If any child is not coming in this way, it's not that child hand or grasp is not developing. Maybe the pattern is different because of the child is not getting that opportunity, but maybe the child is able to write with the 2 finger or the 4 finger, which absolutely fine. Materials. When we do pre-writing work, the materials and the position is very important to consider because it might happen that some of the children are not ready to sit and write. As I said, you need to select the writing tool, appropriate writing tool for the children. So when we start a handwriting or pre-writing practice, we start with a different media. It could be a color, it could be a sand tray, it could be a mud tray, it could be a saving form. So we need to select the media where to start. We usually start the finger pick. Why? Because it's give a kinetic tactile feedback about what we are doing. So we actually perceive better. So that's why we start with the pre-writing training in the different media of the sand tray or colors or the saving form. And there we make the different shapes or alphabets. And then we move to the writing tools. Writing surface and writing position is also important where we are writing. So let's talk about the position. It's not mandatory if the young child is not ready to sit, we will force them to sit and write. We can provide them opportunity to write in the standing position, even in the lying position. They can lie down over the floor, take weight on the elbow, and they can write. This is a very stable position and very good position to start the handwriting or the coloring practice. If they want to stand and do something, allow them to write over the wall. You can put the laminated paper over the wall, whiteboards, blackboards, even over the mirror. So if they do something over the mirror, it's give a good feeling. They feel better when they do something with the hand, just writing over the mirror or writing over the walls. And if they practice more in the standing position, their wrist and the fingers works also better than the sitting position. So we should provide opportunity for the writing in the different position as well. The writing surface is also important. So if the child in sitting position, it should be little slant. So it should, if it is a flat, sometimes it's very difficult for a child. If we'll make it little slant position, the children can actually visually, it's a better position. So here in the slide, you can see I gave some example, like it could be a vertical. You can use the chalk boards or painting boards or laminated paper you can put over the wall. According to your child interest, you can select those. If we work over all these skills which I taught, like motor planning, postural control, proximal stability, your small muscle development, eye-hand coordination, and they're working on the 9 figures, and then working on the different media, writing position, then comes the actual handwriting training, where we teach to write something and how we will evaluate that with the legibility. Like what are the letters the children has written is readable or not. In that, we assess through the letter formation, what is the alignment of the letters or alphabets or the numbers, how's the spacing, it's too narrow or too much spacing children are giving, what is the size of the alphabets and the slant. So how we'll do that? We'll see what are the total readable words divided by the total number of the written words. So that is the legibility. After working all the initial things, we'll come to the legibility. This is the last thing we do in the handwriting. And then ultimate is the writing speed. Then we work on the how fast the child can write, because this is important when they are going to the school. They have to complete the school assignment. They have to copy from the blackboard. If the teacher is dictating, they have to write it. So these are the things at the end we'll practice. This is the last slide just to conclude for the parents. We need to work on the awareness. The first thing, how alert your child is to do anything, not only writing, how alert your child in the environment to do any work, the child posture, the child proximal stability, the child motor planning, the child fine motor skills, how much child is practicing the work. That is also really important. The adaptation. If the child is not ready for the things A, let's find the things B where the child is more comfortable and more ready to work. And alternate method of the expression. So these are the points to conclude for the parents. I hope I'm and able to make you understand why the pre-writing work are important before jumping on the actual handwriting practice for the children with the special needs. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for this amazing session. So here are some questions by our audience. So we'll be discussing that. First, why handwriting training is so difficult for children with autism?
So if you see children with the autism, they have, as I said, there are many prerequisites needed to work on the handwriting before. The children with the autism, the very first thing we are looking, even though it's a difficulty with the social interaction, but if you see autism, the many children have difficulty in the visual motor integration and the fine motor skills, the motor planning. So for the children with the autism also, we need to evaluate even the postural control because of the low tone. So if any child, either with the autism or any other diagnosis, we need to observe each of the skills of the child, and we'll evaluate, okay, what is the challenges with the child, and we need to work over that. So that's why and major thing is the motor planning. That's what the children with the autism we are observing. So that's why the handwriting difficulties are very, very difficult for the children with the autism. And we need to look at the cause, and we need to work on those things first.
Okay. So the next question is, what could be some alternative if children has difficult to write?
Yes. Unfortunately, in India, the education system is like that. Handwriting has the very, very important aspect, and we cannot avoid that. But if a child with special need cannot read, like many children with autism cannot speak, it doesn't mean they don't understand and they cannot run. It's our fault that we are not able to provide them the alternate method of the expression. It's just the method of the expression. If they are learning something, we should provide a way where they can express themselves. So either there are hundreds of the processing devices are available in the market. The typing is one alternate method we can teach to the children, which is easier than the handwriting. Of course, it's also difficult, but easier than handwriting to learn. Or the AAC devices, where they can give their answers. They can just look at the pictures or just type and give their answers. So these are some alternative methods the schools and the teaching professionals should provide to the children to learn and express themselves.
Okay. So there is one more question asked by one parent. My son doesn't leave space in between two words.
Yes, that means the child can write, but the spacing concept is not there. So we need to teach the spacing concept. So if the child is writing the words like one word, two word in a one line, we should give a visual feedback, either just a small dot or a small line. So children should have the visual feedback. Okay, this is the area of write the one word, and this is the area of the write the second word. So visual clue to start of the spacing concept, the children will understand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for providing us with this important information. I hope our audience have enjoyed and also benefited from this session.
I'm glad to connect with the Autism Connect, and thank you for today's session. Thank you, parents. Thank you.